This is ABC7 News at 5:30. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Drivers won't have to stop as often while traveling over several drawbridges on the Suncoast.
The U.S. Coast Guard reducing the number of bridge openings from 3 to 2 times per hour on the Anna Maria and Cortez drawbridges. Openings will now take place on the hour-and-a-half hour. The openings at the Stickney Point and Siesta Drive bridges will be reduced as well. The Coast Guard received 118 comments in favor of the reduction and only 7 against. Public vessels and tugs with tows may request an opening at any time.
Suncoast may be getting more crowded because it's home to one of the safest cities in the state. Community safety organization Safe Home, ranking Northport the second safest city in Florida. It credits the city's decreasing number of violent and property crimes, giving it a safety score of 85 out of 100. Northport is also in the top quarter of safest cities in the country. By the way, Weston, Florida and Broward County came in at number 1 for the state. Bradenton ranked 31st. Sarasota is number 38 out of 50. Former Manatee High School football player and current Oregon coach Willie Taggart is reportedly returning to the state of Florida. The Associated Press and Sports Illustrated first reporting that Willie Taggart will be named Florida State's new head coach. Taggart previously coached at USF and just 1 season now at Oregon. He will replace Jimbo Fisher, who resigned last week to become the new coach at Texas A&M. UCF also hiring a new coach today as well. Josh Heupel, I think is how you say his name. So the teams are going to look a little different next year.
I know. There's a lot of switch-ups across the country when it comes to head coaches, when it comes to football teams as well.
They're moving a lot, that's for sure. All right, let's get another check on our weather now with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob?
Well, right now, 76 degrees. Lots of sunshine out there. Dew point fairly high for this time of year. 67. Good afternoon, everyone. A beautiful day today with temperatures warming in the low 80s. A couple more days like that, and then things will start to change drastically here along the Suncoast. Humidity now 74%. And the winds are out of the west. A little sea breeze has kicked in at 5 miles an hour, and the pressure still way up there, 30-12. That continues to stay high for us temporarily. Temperatures into the mid-70s along the coast from Bradenton to Lakewood Ranch to Sarasota, all the way down to Inglewood, upper 70s in Arcadia and Lake Placid and Sebring, all into the upper 70s there. We are anticipating lows tonight to drop down into the mid-60s, and that's 10 degrees above average, but that's all about to change. As we talked about earlier, this is a fairly significant cold front that is now moving through parts of the southeast United States all the way down into Texas, and behind it much colder air, and that colder air will slip into our area beginning on Friday and stick around for a while too. Right now some rain along the East Coast, not much going on here. As a pleasant evening as anticipated. We'll have much more on that coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Okay, Bob, thank you. Right now, the Florida Department of Transportation is holding a special meeting on Longboat Key, talking about traffic issues affecting the barrier islands of the Suncoast.
FDOT is releasing some findings from a recent study looking at solutions to that problem. ABC7's Rick Adams joins us live from the Longboat Island Chapel with more details. Rick?
Yeah, Jacqueline and Scott, we just had the weather forecast. It is gorgeous out here on Longboat Key, and I'm now joined by Zachary Birch. He is Communications Manager of FDOT. And Zachary, great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And talk a little bit about what's going on here tonight.
Yeah, so tonight we're having our first public meeting out here on Longboat Key for our Barrier Island study, which is looking at possibilities and alternatives to try to help improve traffic and congestion and safety coming to the islands, going from the islands, and driving throughout them.
And what have you learned from the study up to this point?
Yeah, so we've done quite a bit of data collection. We did it during this past peak season, had a number of meetings with our steering committee, which is a lot of the elected officials out here, and we've come up with an array of solutions, from short-term solutions to much longer-term solutions, so that we can bring them to the public here tonight and at another meeting coming up and get their thoughts. What are the best ideas? What are the worst ideas? Which ones will help the most? And any other ideas that the people who drive out here every day have that we may not have thought of.
And where do you go from here? What's next?
So the plan is to have another meeting, another public meeting in the spring sometime. We'll be able to maybe refine our ideas a little bit further, so that when we finish up the study in the summer of 2018, that we can come up with a concrete list of ideas so that we can go forward and make these improvements, whether they're short term or longer term, and really make a difference, we think, for the people who live out here and come to vacation out here on the islands.
Okay, Zach, thanks so much for your time. That's Zachary Birch. He is communications manager of FDOT, and they are here until 6:30 at the Longboat Island Chapel. So if you want to check it out, of course, traffic is a huge issue, especially with the season coming up. Reporting live from Longboat Key today, I'm Rick.
All right, thank you so much, Rick. Authorities in Jacksonville have arrested a Florida man they say was planning to carry out a mass shooting at an Islamic center. 69-year-old Bernardino Bolatete, a Philippines national, is charged with knowingly possessing a silencer not registered to him. The sheriff said the investigation started when someone alerted authorities back in October about the plot against the Islamic Center of Northeast Florida. An undercover officer then reached out to Bolatete, and the two went to shooting ranges together several times during the investigation. Authorities say during those meetings, Bolatete expressed hatred for Muslims and made threats to shoot up the mosque several times, even telling the undercover officer that he did not plan to survive the attack. In a sting operation, an undercover officer then sold him a silencer last week, and a SWAT team arrested him on federal weapons violation charges on Friday.
They assured us that the person who had planned to do harm has been arrested, and that we should feel assured that he'll be put away for a while.
Bolatete could face additional charges as the FBI has started a civil rights investigation.
Lawmakers and criminal justice reform advocates gathering at the state capitol today, calling on lawmakers to stop prosecutors from charging children as adults in Florida. According to the group No Place for a Child, Florida tries more kids in adult court than any other state. Many of these offenses are for nonviolent crimes like stealing a car or breaking into an unoccupied home. Senate bill sponsor Bobby Powell says the ability to charge a child as an adult will still be available under the bill, but the option should be reserved for the worst of the worst.
What has happened is we've stigmatized many of our young people by making sure that they have these criminal charges at such an early age that they're not able to participate in the economy.
Because I was charged as an adult, it made everything all the worse. Not to mention, I was a first-time nonviolent offender, first time I've ever been arrested in my life, the only time I've ever been arrested in my life, and it took the next 9 years of my life.
Both the House and Senate bills were filed last month in advance of the upcoming session, which starts next month. So far, neither bill has been heard by any legislative committee.
The dispute over a wedding cake for a same-sex couple is causing controversy as protesters for both sides rally outside the U.S. Supreme Court. Supporters of Colorado baker Jack Phillips were chanting, "We got Jack's back," while people in support of the gay couple who were refused a cake countered with chants saying love wins. The clash pits baker Jack Phillips' First Amendment claims of artistic freedom against the anti-discrimination arguments of the Colorado Civil Rights Commission and two men that Phillips turned away in 2012. The commission ruled that Phillips violated the state's anti-discrimination law when he refused to make a wedding cake for Charlie Craig and David Mullins.
For me, it's never about the person, never about the person making the request. It's always about the cake. It's always about the message the person wants the cake to communicate.
What happened to us was wrong, and we don't want another couple to go through the pain and humiliation that we experienced. Nobody deserves that. We didn't, and neither do any of you.
The argument is the first involving gay rights since the Supreme Court ruled in 2015 that states could not prevent same-sex couples from marrying. The Trump administration is supporting Phillips in his argument that he cannot be forced to create a cake that violates his religious beliefs.
The most senior member of the U.S. House of Representatives is resigning over sexual harassment accusations, and at the same time, a Senate candidate is picking up support despite allegations of sexual misconduct. 88-year-old Michigan Representative John Conyers, the longest-serving congressman, announced his retirement effective today on a Detroit radio show. The announcement comes after revelations that Conyers' office paid a $27,000 settlement to a former staffer who had made a sexual harassment complaint against the congressman. Conyers admitted to the settlement but denied the allegations. Conyers says he's endorsing his son, John Conyers III, to take his seat.
I am retiring today, and I want everyone to know how much I appreciate the support.
And with 1 week until Election Day in Alabama, President Trump has endorsed Roy Moore. 8 women have accused Moore of sexual misconduct or inappropriate behavior when they were teenagers, and he was a district attorney in his 30s. Moore has denied the allegations.
President Trump says he plans to move the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Trump informed Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas on today's motion through a phone call. A spokesperson says that Abbas warned Trump of the dangers this could cause to Mideast peace efforts and said that he will continue his contacts with world leaders to prevent it from happening. Jerusalem is the home to key Muslim, Christian, and Jewish shrines. The White House has been finalizing a plan for Trump to announce on Wednesday that the U.S. would recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel for the first time in history.
Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, the main focus has been on ending the opioid epidemic, but what about another deadly drug?
The lack of conversation about cocaine and how it could make the drug even more problematic and deadly.
Being the caregiver for my husband is truly a blessing, but sometimes it's easy to lose a part of myself. To be my best, for him and for me, it's important to have time to be able to recharge. When I called Tidewell Hospice, they gave me the chance to do just that. They helped me find the time to care for myself, all the while with the peace of mind of knowing my husband is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
It's the holiday sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sport Utility for $269 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $279 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Let me introduce you to the ultimate Florida window. Do you feel safer with this or this? You'll be proud too.
Buy more, save more. Volume discounts on 4 or more windows.
The perfect musical for the holidays is live on the Players Center stage. Packed with the big band sounds from World War II, the 1940s Radio Hour is our boogie-woogie bugle boy answer to the holiday blues. Call the Players Center at 365-2494 or visit us at theplayers.org. The Players Wild Broadway series wishes you a Merry Christmas with the 1940s Radio Hour.
Naomi, my California Closet designer, has been my partner in crime. She was genuinely fun to work with. We have had a ball collaborating on the 8 units that we have done in our home. The closets in the house are great, but the den is what everyone comments on when they walk in the house. And it's so beautiful. They say, whoa, who did that? And I said, it's California Closets. My name is Melissa, and this is my California Closet story.
With an opioid epidemic sweeping the nation, there may be another drug we're overlooking. With more details, here's ABC News correspondent Kenneth Moten.
Opioids, a national drug problem recently getting a lot of attention, with drug overdoses climbing rapidly over the past decade. But the dangers of cocaine, a drug just as deadly as opioids, far less discussed. And a new report suggests this is a big problem. Government researchers looked at trends in drug overdose deaths, finding that while the rise in the abuse of heroin and prescription drugs is evident in all populations, Cocaine-related deaths have also increased since 2012, and cocaine was the largest contributor to overdoses among black men and women over the past 15 years. The finding, evidence of a racial discrepancy in deaths from this drug. These experts arguing that there is a long-term public health problem with cocaine that's being overlooked, specifically among minority populations. A reminder that as prescription drug problems continue to make the front page, we cannot forget the other narcotics that continue to wreak havoc across the U.S. With this Medical Minute, I'm Kenneth Moten, ABC News.
Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, it has been nice out there. Cortez Bridge webcam looking from Holmes Beach there. You can see the bridge is fairly moving along fairly well there throughout the day. A little traffic here with the weather, and you can see the shadows getting longer as the sun is setting now across the Sun Coast, and a beautiful one it has been. And Titan radar picture showing some activity, a lot of rainfall, something we haven't had much in November and through early December, but now things are starting to change as this front, which is pushing in our direction, will move in. Now, it's been warm here, very warm weather over the past several days. Highs have been in the low 80s. We were just shy of setting a record today into the low 80s, and this is all about to change, though, as the front moves on in. Right now, a few showers along the East Coast, just a few spotty showers. That's been it, but all in all, a very nice day across the peninsula with temperatures well above average. And as the evening goes, it'll stay above average, too. Pretty nice up at 11 o'clock, still in the upper 60s. A little bit of fog forming, patchy at best, but could be rather thick, especially in inland areas to start the day off on Wednesday. Temperatures right now across our area, mid-70s, 76 in Venice, Northport, you're 1 degree warmer, and Bradenton at 76 degrees, Cortez at 75, and Sarasota 76 degrees, 77 at Lakewood Ranch. Currently at Bradenton now 76 degrees, a few clouds around, the dew point temperature at 70, and the humidity at 83%. Winds are calm, and it looks as though we will see a pretty nice night. Now, no real threat of any rainfall tomorrow. There's a slight chance on Thursday, a much better chance, and that's fairly evident on the forecast. We'll see that a little bit on Friday at 70%. 82 the high, just 4 degrees shy of the record of 86 set back in 1994. This morning's low running about 10 degrees above average, and that's all coming to a halt here pretty quickly on Friday. No rainfall. We could use a little bit of rain. Here's the forecast, the futurecast I talked about. High pressure will slip off in advance of this front as a fairly significant front moves in, and a little disturbance along that front will eventually sweep it all through. It'll be slow and moving, so don't expect this to move through on Thursday. More so on Friday. A few spotty showers are possible Thursday morning around the area. And the rain chance only at about 30%. This particular model showing a little bit more rain, but it would be just light rain showers at this point. I alluded to this earlier, Friday, and keep your umbrellas handy. We're going to need them. A 70% chance for some showers mainly now. Doesn't appear to be anything too rough as the front moves in. The temperature forecast to start things off tomorrow, very warm, mid-60s up and down the coast, and then highs tomorrow afternoon will warm right around 80 degrees, and you'll notice the temperature staying fairly warm across the peninsula, cooler over the Panhandle, high of only 52 in Pensacola, and then the low again to start things off on Thursday will be warm, but notice here it comes, 46 in Tallahassee, 44 in Pensacola. By Friday, all that cooler air will eventually slip in, but Thursday afternoon, despite the clouds and a chance for showers, it will still be rather warm with temperatures warming into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Well, the big weather and the big weather story now is this area of low pressure continuing to spin over Canada, and that's bringing kind of a rain-snow mix to parts of Maine, but rain and kind of a cold day into Vermont, New Hampshire, all the way over to New York, and some snow, lake effect snow is occurring in upper peninsula of Michigan right now near Marquette and Whitefish. There are some snow showers there. Well, here's a look at the boating forecast tomorrow. South to southwest winds at 10 knots. Should be nice. Seas running 1 to 2 feet with a light chop out there. And the extended forecast does call for warm weather through Thursday. And then a good chance for showers on Friday and Friday night. Saturday morning, still some rain, tapering off and turning cool to stick around right through Tuesday. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. Time now to check your first alert traffic for the drive home. There is some red on the map near downtown Bradenton and the DeSoto and Green bridges as drivers head home from work. But some good news, the interstate remains clear at this hour.
Starbucks is opening a new store in Shanghai today, the largest in the world. It spans an area nearly twice as large as the next biggest Starbucks store, a roastery in Seattle that opened 3 years ago. It's also the first Starbucks Reserve roastery to the company's new retail offering outside of the U.S. China is the company's fastest growing market, and they are expanding rapidly there. But it will not retain the title of the world's largest Starbucks for long, because the company has already inked a deal to open an even bigger store in Chicago, which is set to open in 2019. The coffee addiction is worldwide.
Oh yes, and I am a
Yes,
proud member of the Coffee Addiction Club.
Entertainment news is next.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Choral Artists of Sarasota presents Too Hot to Handle. Add an electric spark to your holiday season with the return of this joyful gospel reinvention of Handel's Messiah. Shout hallelujah and get ready for a roof-raising performance featuring an ensemble of 100 singers, plus exceptional musicians and outstanding soloists, including Amy Jo Connors and members of the West Coast Black Theater Troupe. Sunday, December 10th, 7:30 p.m. at the Van Wezel. Tickets and info are at choralartistsarasota.org.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Netflix has fired actor Danny Masterson from its comedy series called The Ranch due to multiple accusations of sexual assault. The company said in a Twitter statement that yesterday was his last day at work and new episodes will be filmed next year without him. 4 women have accused Masterson of rape. He said through his representative that he's disappointed with the decision and denies the allegations. Masterson, who rose to fame in That 70s Show, is currently under investigation by the LAPD and LA County District Attorney.
Production has been halted for the action thriller film The Rhythm Section because actress Blake Lively injured her hand while on set. Producers say that Lively hurt her hand while performing an action sequence. Filming was temporarily suspended and producers say it will resume as soon as possible. Lively plays a woman seeking revenge after her family is killed in a plane crash. Jude Law also stars in that movie. The adaptation of the Mark Burnell novel is set for release in 2019.
Director Bryan Singer has left the Queen biopic Bohemian Rhapsody in the middle of production. A representative for 20th Century Fox Film Corporation says Singer is no longer the director of the film. A Hollywood Reporter reported on Monday that Singer failed to show up to the London set on a number of occasions. Studio representatives declined to comment on the circumstances surrounding his departure or the future plans for the film.
Rock singer Neil Young is selling some of his most prized possessions, all part of his model train collection. The Canadian folk rock star is putting more than 250 of his Lionel trains up for auction in Los Angeles. Some of the model trains are worth up to $20,000, and a portion of the auction proceeds will benefit the Bridge School in California, which Young's ex-wife Peggy co-founded for children with severe speech and physical impairments. In addition to the trains, the auction will also feature an assortment on guitars owned by Young, as well as classic cars. And Jimmy Kimmel's 7-month-old son is recovering from a successful second heart surgery. ABC announcing the surgery in a statement and says that Kimmel will take time off from Jimmy Kimmel Live to be with his family. Chris Pratt will be the first of several guest hosts filling in for the 50-year-old Kimmel, followed by Tracy Ellis Ross, Neil Patrick Harris, and Melissa McCarthy. So
he's got some good friends to fill in for him. That's for sure. Those should be good shows.
I know. And obviously, I'm glad to hear that his son is doing much better.
Scary thing to go through for sure. We'll be right back with more news and your forecasts for the rest of the week.